Hi everyone, today we're going to be doing this. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. Let's do this. So under Effects, bring in the Fusion comp. Let's leave it at the default duration, put the playhead on it, go to the Fusion page. Now we bring in Shift Spacebar, bring in an sText node, and a few things we just need to set up. Click on an empty space, press Shift Spacebar, and bring in an SOutline node. Let's connect this to the outline. Now for this text, let's make this a single viewer. Drag this to the viewer so we can just type in here, I don't know, resolve. Let's use any text really. So we could use this font. That's a Mistral. So we use Mistral. Then on the outline, if you drag this to the viewer, we see we have the outline there. The thickness is 0.01. So what we're going to do is go here, reduce the thickness to 0.05. So we have something that's slim. You can even make it a little slimmer and make it 0.0025. So we put the playhead at the beginning, keyframe the thickness, move forward by 5 frames, keyframe again, then go back to the first keyframe by clicking on there and typing 0 in here. Then we go to this keyframe now, the keyframe 5, we go to in between, that's like keyframe number 3, go to outline, then for the length, we click keyframe this and drop this to 0. And then we move it forward by 20 frames, that will make it 23, so you can just type 23 here, press enter, it jumps to frame 23, and then we drag the length to 1. Click on this, go to Spline Editor, select thickness and length, click on zoom to fit, click on here to select all the keyframes, right click on it, go to ease, click out cubic. So if we play this back, we already have this simple stuff. Let's close the Spline Editor. The size of the text is a little too small still, so I'm just going to increase the size a little bit. That works. Now we've set the keyframe for this outline, so we're going to make duplicates of this outline. So I'm going to copy this and paste it 5 more times. So Ctrl V. So connect sText to each of them. Now for this first 3, we leave it as it is. But for this next 3, I'm going to go here. And for the thickness, I'm going to set the thickness of this. Let's move the keyframe to the keyframe where it's set to 0, then set to 0.025. I'm going to set this to 1. And do the same thing for these other ones. So this is the one at 0, 0.025, send this to 0.01. Click on here, go to 0, then to the keyframe here, and set this to 0.01. So if I drag this to the viewer, we see it's pretty thick, but it's not nearly thick enough. So I'm just going to make it 0.1 instead. 0.1 is too much, so 0.03 works. Go here, set this to 0.03. I should make sure that it's on the keyframe. So 0.03, and then this third one, 0.03. Okay, now to have them in different colors, that's like you saw in the animation at the beginning, I'm going to bring in 6 sRender nodes. Let's drag this up so we see the full tree. So I click on an empty space, press Shift space bar, bring in an sRender node. Let's make a copy of this and just paste it. Click, paste, click, paste, click, paste, and finally there. Connect them up to sRender. Then we paste one final S render. You'll see what that is about now. If I click on here, shift spacebar, then I connect this text directly to this S render node. I can hold down Alt on the keyboard and click on this arrow. It will create a pipe, like so. Then I can drag this here so it looks tidy. Now we have the full tree here. The next thing we do, we bring in background nodes for each of them. So I can just copy this and paste across all of them. Connect this to the background node. But this one, I did not connect to the background node. Let's delete this background node. What I need to bring in here is the bitmap node. So I press Shift Spacebar, bring in a bitmap node. Connect this to the bitmap node. And then for this background, I can set this to red, set this background to green, set this to blue, set this to perhaps red again, then green again, then this one to blue. So the final color, which will be this one, will now be blue. Let's move this media out here a bit. Now we bring in this tool called Shift Spacebar Multimerge. Multimerge this here. Add it. Let's bring it down here. And let's connect the first, what's going to be the background, the first one that will first happen. This will be the first animation that will happen. I'm going to connect that to the background input of the multi-merge. Then the next one, like so. So we keep connecting them in that sequence. You see they keep adding up in the hierarchy. So this is above this one, this is above this one, and then we now use this as the mask input of this multi-merge. And we're almost done with everything. Then just to add a little flair to it, let's move this back a little bit. Let's Control spacebar or Shift spacebar. You can bring in stop motion. Add that in there. You see my playback setting for this project is 24 frames per second. I want it to play at 12 frames per second. So I'm just going to click on stop motion and say it should hold 2 frames for every 1 frame. And then we can connect this media out. Just before we finish up, then we go to select all these outlines, then open the keyframe page, keyframe editor, click on zoom to fit, expand all of them. Let's drag this up so we see everything. Then I stagger them forward by about 5 frames each, 5 to 7 frames each. Select, drag like so, select, drag like so, select, drag like so, then select the last one, drag it forward like so. And we close the keyframes. Let's drag this media out to the viewer, expand this, and then we go to the beginning and let's play back what we have done. And then we have this. So if you go to playback smoothly, you see it has this beautiful stuff. So you see it has this very cartoonish look about it. That's the idea. What I just want to get rid of is this red outline. The reason why it's showing is because this is the background. And what I should have done was to add a transparent background. So I'm going to bring a background in here, reduce the alpha here, connect this instead to this background node, and connect this back in here. This is background 1, right? So I'm going to connect that in here. So I'm going to go to multi-merge, and I'm going to make sure that this background is down here. Okay, so that way is the first background, then followed by this, followed by that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. So if we go back here, go to the beginning and play it back now, we see we have this here. So if you go back here and play it, you see we have this. Just has this cartoonish thing. Hope you had fun on this one. I did. Just a simple thing to show you. See you on the next one. Cheers.